Hi, I'm Kayla Droog.
Hi, I'm Linda OJ.
Welcome to the Next Gen Business Podcast.
Let's go.
The Next Gen Business Podcast is produced by the Small Business Community Network. Visit them online at www.sbcncanada.org.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, Kayla. How you doing?
I'm good, although I hear you've been a little under the weather.
I've been under the weather for 4 weeks. I've just got my voice back, but I'm still a bit croaky. But I'm so happy to be back in the real world. And I've got a lovely new guest to introduce you to, Melissa Small. Hi, Melissa.
Hi, Linda. Hi, Kayla. Thanks for having me tonight.
Well, you're in a really, I think, much needed business and you help a lot of people. And so, we'd love to hear more about it, wouldn't we, Kayla?
We would. Tell us a little bit more about what you do and who you work with.
Yeah, so I'm an employer engagement specialist with EmployNext powered by Serco. And that is a very fancy opening to say that I help try to connect with businesses that are in the community looking to find a different way to approach their hiring. So through the partnership that we have with the Government of Ontario, we are able to connect with businesses and help support them in reaching out to the community and the pool of talent that we have coming into our office. So these candidates are coming to us through a variety of different channels. Sometimes it's referrals through social assistance or other government funded programs like Service Canada. When you apply for EI, employment insurance benefits, they will tell you, hey, your responsibility as a job search is to do job search. So did you know there's actually this free program that can help you in all those aspects? So we help with anything related to resumes, interviews, cover letters, networking tips. We can also look at opportunities for professional development. So really doing a lot to get you as job ready as you can and trying to keep you motivated, really match that enthusiasm that you're bringing in to prepare yourself for a future employer. And then hoping those employers recognize that talent and that value that you're able to bring to them so that we can facilitate those introductions and really give you a solid foundation between you and that employer that you're joining so that you can stay there for a long period of time. Because some people think it's hard to find a job, but you'll also find a lot of people who say it's really easy to find a job. But once you've found a job, we want to try to do whatever we can to coach and support you in that position. Sometimes it's a youth, they've never had a position before. So if we can provide that coaching and be a bit of that cheerleader for them to make sure it's a really good first experience, it can really take them quite far in their career. So we're helping anyone, regardless of age, regardless of industry, just doing whatever we can to try to make sure that people are finding the jobs that feel meaningful to them and that we're supporting the communities to be the best that they can be.
Wow, that was going to be one of my questions, Melissa. Is there an age focus there? So basically it's youth up to any age, which is absolutely marvellous, isn't it?
Yeah, typically it would be people who are not in school full time. So individuals who have graduated high school and don't have plans to go back to post-secondary right away. That would be kind of the starting point. And then we will help people all throughout their journey. So sometimes it can be, they've given up the full-time career, but still want to look for something else. So there may be opportunities there where we can help explore different opportunities that would be meaningful for them.
Do you find it's difficult for people, say, of a certain age that have come out the corporate world because they don't feel they fit in anymore, but they want a lesser kind of job? Do you find that difficult for those people to find a job? Because maybe the employer thinks, well, if you've come out the corporate world, why do you want to work at this kind of position?
Yeah, so there's lots of people who, for different reasons, will be transitioning from one industry to the next. It could have been a layoff even. So sometimes people who have had a really long tenure somewhere or just burnt out. Like I think of sales, for example, those are very high stress, high pressure roles. And when I worked as a career counselor myself, I did see some people who came in and they were like, I just can't do it anymore. I can't do the evening networking events and the early morning breakfasts. Like they just wanted a better work-life balance. So there were some opportunities where we had to look at and that's really what our program is there for, in a sense, even too, is if you don't know what you want to do because you've only worked in a certain field for a number of years, or for those high school students, for example, they graduated and they're like, I don't know if I'm ready to go back to school. I don't know where my next journey is. We'll do a lot of that support to explore, well, what is it that you like doing? What are you interested in? What excites you to get out of bed every morning? We'll have those conversations with them. And then again, figure out what are those tips that we can do. Is there a short-term course that we might be able to recommend? Is there a mentor that we could help you find? How can we get you to leverage the skills that you already have? And make those referrals to employers and the people that we have relationships and connections to say, hey, here's the story. You're not going to see this on their resume. There's just trust that I believe they have something to demonstrate to you and there's a value that they have to offer to your company. Would you give them an opportunity? And then we support and we stay in touch with those employers and with those job seekers just to understand and, provide that ongoing reassurance of like, how's it going? Have you gotten any feedback from your employer? Has your employer, or even for the employer, have you had to give any feedback? How did they take the feedback? How are they getting along with the team? We're asking all those questions and staying in touch because it's really more than a resume. The resume gets them in the door, but that is just the starting point to so much more that happens after that because we really want to make sure, again, that we're just building the foundations and the blocks for a long-term relationship. That's what these job seekers are coming to us for, is they're not looking for just they are looking for a paycheck, but they're looking for somewhere that they can really enhance, grow, develop their skills, have something that they're proud of. So we're trying to find those employers who are looking for those people who want to demonstrate that pride and, showcase their work ethic and are just looking for somebody to offer them an opportunity and see more than just the black and white text of what's on a resume.
So I know you said that you work with all different kinds of industries and positions. What are the general types of employers and businesses that you're connecting people with?
So right now, I would say the top areas that some of our job seekers are interested in would be things like customer service. So that could include like retail, financial institutions, like shelf stocking, some of those kind of things. Also food services. So anything in like a kitchen, hostess, dishwasher, those types of like cashiers, things along that line. Things in skilled trades as well. More so, I would say people who are apprentices. We all know there's a skilled trade shortage, so I'm not going to say that we're a magic industry. I do think our program can offer a lot of magic, but that unfortunately is not quite one that I would say with any level of confidence. We do have people I know who would be interested in an apprenticeship, and again, support that we can offer those employers just to help make sure that they're following those pathways, if that's something that they're able to provide within the ratios that have to be in place. So yeah, lots of hands-on things. So warehousing, manufacturing, any kind of general labor or construction, there's lots of interest there. Also things in healthcare. So personal support workers or home caregivers would be another area of interest. Drivers. Yeah, those are kind of some of the ones that are most common for entry level. But through the program and through the resources that we have, again, when I worked as a career counselor, I helped anyone. So it could be project managers, engineers, nurses, all types of skilled things, financial analysts. I could go on and on and on with different job titles, but it just shows if there's a business in the community where we are, we probably have somebody in our program that is looking or that has the ability to demonstrate those skills.
Wow, that was a great question, Kayla. My question is, how did you get into this work, Melissa, or why did you get into this work? I know you were a career counsellor before, so why did you become a career counsellor?
Yeah, so it's actually an interesting story, and I love sharing this with people because I had worked in social services, and the contract that well, pardon, it wasn't a contract, but the nature of social services is that a lot of things are funding dependent. Well, the role where I was in, the funding had changed, and my role was actually eliminated in the next fiscal year. So I was laid off. And then during that time, apparently I got really good at helping people to find work because I actually got a job as a career counselor. And I was there for a number of years. I did take a break from the employment world for a while because I did academic advising in one of the post secondary institutions, got laid off again. And then I realized that I was like, you know what? Everyone gets laid off. It's very common in your career that you're going to experience it. I think it's nothing to be embarrassed about. But really, it helped pull me back into the idea that your identity is often tied to your employment. You're very proud of what you do. People like to talk about what they do. So it just feels natural for me to be in those spaces where I can help people find their identity, build the passion that they have, and just develop the skills that they're looking for themselves, and just connect the dots and build those relationships for other people so that they can really drive their own success forward.
Oh, isn't that lovely, Kayla? You're doing something you love, Melissa, which Kayla and myself are as well. Um, so, how do you get the word out to people? Obviously, our listeners will obviously get the message, but what do you normally do to get the word out?
So, because I work with a network of employment help centers, we're all working together to get the word out there. So, you may hear some of our organizational names come through your email because we do cold outreach that way. I do try to attend different networking events as well. Just again, that chance to show my face and have you recognize maybe a name in your inbox that you've seen. We do also try to reach out to people by phone, or some businesses will also come through our website because there is a portal on our website where you can tell us that you're interested in learning more. It's a completely no obligation chance to reach out to us. You're not bound by any kind of contract, or, we're not going to keep hounding you if you tell us that you're not interested. That's completely okay. I think there's a lot of really good benefits to the program that we have to offer. So often when we can get through to people, they're like, what's the catch? Why wouldn't I want to use this? Or why didn't I know about this sooner? It's just a wonderful resource that's kind of hidden in our community. But once you find it, and if you're willing to give us at least one experience, I really believe you're not going to regret it because you will get some really solid people. You will be supported through the entire process. And if I haven't said it already, which I don't know if I actually have, but it is a completely cost-free service. So really the only risk is you're going to answer a few phone calls, or you're going to attend a virtual meeting, or have me into your office, or one of my staff members into your office. You're not going to feel like it's the right fit, or you're not going to be ready for it, and that's fine. But you haven't lost anything other than a little bit of time. There's no money involved, but there is a lot of really good opportunities that can come out, and lots of ways that we can support you as a business to make sure that that next hire is as best as they can be for you.
That sounds wonderful. A lot of our listeners are entrepreneurs. They might be very small business owners or even solopreneurs. Is that a level of business that you're able to work with to connect them with help if they need it?
Yep. So we do help businesses of all sizes. Sometimes small businesses actually really benefit from the program that we have because they're managing so many operational things already. So if we can extend ourselves and become their HR support to do that hiring, help with some pre-screening, the idea behind it is we're trying to cut down, we're not going to give you the same volume that Indeed does. Everybody knows if you, or any kind of public job board, if you post a job on that public job board, you will get a high volume of applications, And I'm not going to say that we're going to give you that volume, but we are going to give you a better level of quality, because the quality is coming through that the people who we're sending you, we know are local, right? We're only giving your job posting to the people who are in the city where you are, or within a reasonable distance of commuting, and that we know they have the ability to commute to that position. So that alone cuts out quite a bit of work for some employers when they consider posting on a public job board. You're going to get a lot of people who can't even get to you as an employer if you need them to work on site. So that's a really good benefit for it. And then again, it's just somebody to coach you through, how do I write an offer letter? Right? What does an offer letter need to include? We can give you some of those tips, or we have connections into the community to say, here's how you would go about doing a contract. We can just give a bit of that guidance so that you feel like you are empowered to follow all the right steps through the entire process.
Now, Melissa, we've spoken about what you do a little bit at networking. I didn't know about the second bit you've just talked about. That was another excellent question, Kayla. Thank you. So how can people who are listening to the podcast find you? Is it through a website? Is it through an email, Melissa?
Yeah. So anyone is welcome to reach out to me on LinkedIn. You can find me just by using my name, Melissa Small. There's also the option to connect through our website, like I was saying before. So you can go in and there's a spot to give us some of your information through the website, and then we will reach out to you either by phone or email. There's also my email address, so you can just reach out to me directly if you have any questions or want to set up some time. Through my LinkedIn page, I will say there is an option to book a virtual meeting with me, so either 30 or 60 minutes, and you can find time in your availability in your calendar that makes the most sense, and then we can have that follow-up conversation. I can answer any questions that you might have, or through our website as well, you can find the link to any of the direct offices in our community, so our service providers, and you could also reach out to them specifically if there was one in your neighborhood and you wanted to go in person to see somebody. That's another great way to reach out for any of the type of support that we can offer to employers.
Wow. So, Kayla, Melissa and myself met at, I believe, Melissa, the Cambridge Chamber, was it?
Yep, it was one of the Cambridge chambers, and I just came up and said, "You seem like such a nice person," and we started a conversation.
And then somebody said, "No, she's not." I'm joking.
No, I don't think anyone would agree with that, Linda.
I was really mean when I had bronchitis. I was in a bad mood. But no, seriously, the power of networking, and this is what this is all about, isn't it, Kayla? Kayla and I help each other. She's one of the SBC members, and you are now. You came to the event last night, but we can spread the word for you. And basically, I had no idea, really. I knew that you did part of it, but I didn't know it was such a thorough kind of, what should we say, tool that you offer to everybody. So, Kayla, what words of wisdom will you leave us with tonight? What did you discover from Melissa's explanation of the wonderful work they're doing?
Well, I don't know about wisdom, but I think the next time I need help in my business, I know who I'm going to reach out to.
Perfect.
That's an excellent way to finish. So, Melissa, I'd love to thank you for your time tonight. You've been absolutely fantastic. And you're so clear and concise. And listening to you, I could go on forever because you've got a lovely voice as well. So thank you for your time. So basically, Kayla, I think we've got to say goodbye to each other, which I hate, but we'll see each other again next month, won't we?
Absolutely.